Last night on Jesse Watters Primetime, Attorney General Pam Bondi said this.
What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
So we were looking today to find out more about why the government's been so suspiciously protective of Jeffrey Epstein. This afternoon, a bunch of conservative influencers left a meeting at the White House with binders that said the Epstein files, phase 1. Once the binders were opened, people were able to see flight records and Epstein's Rolodex and a list of masseuses. The masseuses' names were blacked out, and the information from the flight logs wasn't new. Neither was the Rolodex. When we began to feel duped, Pam Bondi released a letter that says, basically, I was duped too. In the letter addressed to FBI Director Kash Patel, Bondi basically says, I asked you for the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. I received 200 pages of documents. I asked if these were all the documents, and the FBI said yes. Late yesterday, I learned from a source at the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigation and the indictment of Epstein. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the evidence of these files. Bondi's demanding by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning that the FBI deliver everything to her office, including all records, audio, video recordings, all materials related to Epstein. And she ensures DOJ will disclose everything. And she's directing Patel to begin an immediate investigation into why the FBI isn't following orders. So who's in charge at the New York FBI field office? Who's withholding Epstein docs from the Attorney General? James Dennehy is running the show there. There he is. This is the guy who emailed his whole staff to dig in after Trump took office. And don't forget that James Comey's daughter is an assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. She worked on the Epstein and Maxwell cases. She's kind of knee-deep in this. Epstein was facing sex trafficking charges in Lower Manhattan. Where's all that paperwork? The FBI seized computers, surveillance videos, banking records, file cabinets, and photographs from all of Epstein's properties in New Mexico, the Virgin Islands, Palm Beach, and in New York. The Justice Department also gave Epstein a sweetheart non-prosecution deal 17 years ago. Where are those files? The Bureau of Prisons. Where are those files? You remember where Epstein killed himself? I asked Bill Barr about that, why everything seemed to go wrong that night.
When I first heard all the information and all the coincidences here, I was suspicious.
What were the coincidences? I mean, those were a lot of coincidences.
Well, one of the cameras was out.
Right.
He was supposed to have a cellmate. The cellmate left. They didn't replace the cellmate. And the guards who were supposed to check him every half hour didn't check him.
My EMT source said he was on the scene immediately to pull Epstein's body out to the morgue. And when he got to the cell, he saw 7 people there touching Epstein's body and moving stuff around. Trump did say during the campaign he'd release these files, so it's not like this came out of the blue. Jeffrey Epstein did act as an informant to the FBI. Is the Bureau embarrassed? Is the Bureau embarrassed that they let hundreds of young victims down? This was all happening right under everyone's noses. Epstein was probably an intelligence asset, rumored to be working with the Israelis, maybe this country, probably other countries. Was he a double agent? He had dirt on everyone and a knack for making cash. And he's dead. So the government has no one to protect but themselves. Epstein victim attorney Jennifer Freeman and former CIA officer and whistleblower John Kiriakou. All right, John, what explains this weird turf war today?
I think the easiest explanation is that so many FBI agents have been there for years, for decades. They think it's their organization, it's not Kash Patel's organization or even Pam Bondi's, and they're going to do as they please. Times have changed, and they have until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning to get with the program or walk out the door.
And what happens if by 8 a.m. those files aren't on Miss Bondi's desk?
I would start firing people. You know, at the CIA, we always worked at the pleasure of the president. If the president didn't like the cut of your suit, you were shown the door. And there's something to that. I think that that's the way it should be. If you refuse to obey a direct lawful order to turn documents over, then you need to go. And somebody else should have that job who can do it.
All right, Ms. Freeman, this must be just a sad day for your client, for all of these victims. It's just more mystery, more obstruction. How are you processing it? How is your client processing it?
Well, we've been looking through the documents which we just got like an hour plus ago, and it's a bit of a ho-hum. You know, certainly there is some information there. There are 4 categories of information. There's logs, there's evidence, there's contact lists, and then there's a blank list of masseuses. And there's some interesting things on there. Alan Dershowitz appears multiple times. Bill Clinton appears with 4 Secret Service. We see a reference to nude and semi-nude images and videos, what we call CSAM, which is child pornography. And there are some interesting contact lists, more Secret Service, and some Hollywood A-listers. But one of the things that really struck me, because this is one of the issues that we've been pushing, is that what we saw evidence of was CSAM, this child pornography. This is the issue that the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office completely missed. And this is something that's so critical and could have put him away for life many, many, many years ago. So yes, my client, Maria Farmer, and many other clients are very upset that they've been treated with the back of the hand over and over. I called for an investigation of this matter a year and a half ago, and I got a big fat nothing. And I got a letter that says, well, the issues and the allegations are concerning, but we're really kind of busy and we'll get back to you. And of course they did not.
All right, well, we're gonna go through the release tonight and have more tomorrow. Ms. Freeman, John, thanks for joining us. Just a weird day. We appreciate it. Fox News Alert actor Gene Hackman and his wife were found dead today. And it was a very suspicious scene. Senior national correspondent Kevin Cork has more. Kevin?
Evening, Jesse. The search is on tonight for answers as investigators try to piece together what exactly happened to the 95-year-old film star and his 64-year-old wife, as well as one of their pets, all of whom were found deceased in their home in New Mexico. The Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department said the deaths were, quote, suspicious enough in nature to warrant a deeper look. We are told there were no signs of obvious blunt force trauma or carbon monoxide poisoning or forced entry into the home. We're also told they were discovered by a pair of maintenance workers, according to a search affidavit. Now, the front door of the 2-story home was also apparently ajar by the time deputies arrived. Hackman's and Arakawa's bodies were found in separate rooms in the house. And we learned tonight that there were apparently pills strewn about on the floor near Arakawa's body, but investigators have not suggested that that was a cause of death. The Oscar-winning actor, whose career spanned more than 40 years and included nearly 80 films, among some of the all-time great films, Hoosiers, Bonnie and Clyde, The French Connection, and Unforgiven. Gene Hackman, the search for answers into his untimely death, was 95 years old, and Jesse, the investigation is ongoing. Back to you.
All right. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.